Most people look at a 300-foot vertical cliff and see a death trap. In China, they saw a lobby. We are standing on the edge of the Jade Chasm, a $4 billion engineering nightmare with a price tag so high you could literally launch 6-man missions to the space station for the same cost. For 50 years, this was an abandoned industrial scar, a jagged pit left over from the 1950s that nobody dared to touch. Until China decided to build the world's first Earthscraper. They stopped trying to touch the clouds and started trying to conquer the core. This isn't just a hotel, it's a 16-story middle finger to the laws of physics. The question, how do you stop a 90-foot deep bucket from turning into a massive, drowning death trap the second the monsoon rains start to fall? The architects didn't just design a building, they designed a rescue mission for the landscape. Here's the alien logic. In a normal skyscraper, gravity is your friend. It pushes the weight down into the ground. But when you're hanging off a vertical cliff, gravity is trying to rip you off the wall and throw you into the pit. To fight back, Chinese engineers had to invent 41 brand new patents just to keep the structure from sliding. They used thousands of high-tensile earth anchors driven deep into the ancient volcanic rock. Every single room is essentially bolted to the planet itself. If an alien landed here, they'd think we grew this thing in a lab. It's like China decided to play Minecraft in real life, but with $1 billion budget and no undo button. The question, what happens when you realize the rock you're bolting into isn't actually as solid as the blueprints promised? The architects didn't just design a building, they designed a rescue mission for the landscape. Here's the alien logic. In a normal skyscraper, gravity is your friend. It pushes the weight down into the ground. But when you're hanging off a vertical cliff, gravity is trying to rip you off the wall and throw you into the pit. To fight back, Chinese engineers had to invent 41 brand new patents just to keep the structure from sliding. They used thousands of high-tensile earth anchors driven deep into the ancient volcanic rock. Every single room is essentially bolted to the planet itself. If an alien landed here, they'd think we grew this thing in a lab. It's like China decided to play Minecraft in real life, but with $1 billion budget and no undo button. The question, What happens when you realize the rock you're bolting into isn't actually as solid as the blueprints promised? The bottom 2 floors of the Jade Chasm don't even exist in the open air. They are completely submerged. You are sleeping behind 2 feet of reinforced acrylic glass, with the entire weight of the quarry lake trying to crush your room like a soda can. This is the ultimate alien logic flex. To prevent the pit from flooding during a storm, engineers built a massive, high-tech pump station that monitors water levels down to the millimeter. They even built a custom perimeter levee to redirect the nearby river. China didn't just build a hotel, they built a dam that people happen to sleep in. It's a masterclass in hydraulic dominance. The question, how do you get 50,000 tons of steel to the bottom of a hole when a regular crane would snap under its own weight? You don't use a normal crane. You reinvent the crane. The engineers couldn't use standard equipment because the wind speed at the bottom of the pit creates a vortex effect that would toss a concrete bucket like a toy. They built a custom elevator rail system that hugged the rock wall, delivering materials with surgical precision. Every worker on this site had to be trained in high-altitude mountain climbing. We're talking about a construction crew that doubled as a special forces unit. They weren't just pouring foundation, they were performing surgery on the planet while suspended by wires 300 feet in the air. The question, how do you keep the air inside a 90-foot deep hole from becoming a toxic, stagnant heat trap? Here is the problem nobody talks about: stagnation. Deep pits trap hot air, creating a heat island that would make the hotel feel like an oven. China's answer? Turn the hotel into a giant lung. They designed a thermal siphon system using the massive central waterfall. As the water falls, it pulls fresh, cool air from the top of the canyon and pushes it through the lower levels. It's a low-energy climate control system that mimics how caves breathe. They didn't just install AC units. They hacked the local weather patterns to ensure the air always feels like a mountain breeze. The question, is this just a hotel, or is China building a prototype for the cities of the future? This isn't just about a luxury stay. The Jade Chasm is a proof of concept. China is proving to the world that there is no such thing as unusable land. By mastering the Earthscraper, they have unlocked millions of acres of abandoned mines and canyons that the rest of the world has given up on. Imagine cities built into the sides of the Grand Canyon or hubs inside extinct volcanoes. That is the future China is writing right now. They took a scar of industrial waste and turned it into the gold standard of global engineering. They didn't just move the goalposts, they built a brand new stadium in a place where nobody else even thought to look. The world said it was impossible. China said it was Tuesday. We've seen the future of architecture, and it's deep underground. They took the deepest, darkest hole they could find and turned it into the most exclusive stay on the planet. This is the peak of human ambition, and it belongs entirely to the vision of a new era. We just showed you the building that rewrote the rulebook on gravity. Would you have the guts to sleep in a room bolted to a volcanic cliff 90 feet below ground? Let us know in the comments if this is genius or pure insanity. And if you want to see more of China's impossible engineering, hit that subscribe button right now, because the next project we found is even crazier